now you're in track. So you're in full track. You're in full track right now. Paddle shifters are on. Everything's in full track. It's like you're going to a track right now. So now do the same thing. You'll feel the suspension. The drive is going to be different. What up, guys? Mike G with MBG Collections on hand.
Spot for you to open it up.
Right, this is just, I want you to just feel, you know, like the downshifts and feel like, you know, some regular, like all this shit.
That's insane, bro.
So as you can see, very violent.
Yeah.
I mean, you're gonna get a different experience in the passenger seat, so.
It just throws you right back. Throws you right back. It's such an aggressive shift. Like when you hit the gas, you can feel it just shift forward, and you can even feel the tires slip slightly because it's just so much power going to the back.
Like how you felt that slight slip, and let me tell you something. With this wide body, you have, I'm trying to let this guy go a little bit. With that wide body, you feel less slip, because before, with the narrow bodies, you would get like more of a spin. It was more of a squiggly thing, you know?
Yeah, that's insane. That's insane. Yeah. So this is where we normally would go, but this is closed off. But that's all right. You can keep going down, and then we can pop a U-turn.
Gotcha. And you're driving too, just so you know.
That's fine.
I'm gonna leave. I'm gonna put you in. Right now, I got myself in full track, and traction control is partially off. I would want to do that with you. I'm gonna put you in my custom. You're gonna be in track mode, but traction control is gonna be fully on, just until you kind of get used to it. You know what I'm saying? I'm barely tapping it. I'm not even, because I already know, like, this guy's up here. I'll close it in a heartbeat. If I don't barely, just give it, like I would say, gradual power or gain acceleration. If I just stepped on it, Pete, we'll be, I won't let us lose control, but we'll be drifting, you know what I'm saying? So that's just like a little, that's what I'm doing. I'm not doing that, you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So what I just showed you the first time, I'm gonna do it right here, watch.
Wow. Yeah, you were not kidding. Bobby, you were here. That's insane. You went right up there.
Perfect spot right here, so you can do a little switcheroo. And if they have to go around me, they can go around me. Adjust your seat and mirrors.
Oh, you got Alcantara steering wheel too?
You gotta believe it.
Hey.
I wasn't a fan of it at first. I didn't want it. I wanted the leather, like how I had in my last Daytona 392. But then I started thinking about it, and when I really got that feel, I was like, you know what, it's not that bad. So your powers in 717, transmissions in track, you can get that same transmission like I just did. Paddle shifters are off, but your traction's in street, so you can have some traction control. Your suspension's in in street, where it's going to be a little bit more softer. It won't be as firm, and then your steering's in track. So your suspension won't be as firm as it just was for me. You'll feel it more floaty, but it's gonna move. Later on, once you get the feel of it, I'll put you in full track with traction controls off. But she's all you right now. So what's the power in your car? What's the horsepower?
A little bit over 270.
Okay, 270. And the fastest car you ever driven was what?
Probably that actually.
Okay. So,
probably that.
Welcome to life.
Yeah, man. Oh God.
So here we go. Enjoy yourself. You're driving your BMW right now. You know these roads better than me, so maybe point you can just
supercharger. You can just tell this takes off because I'm just tapping it, and it was just casually going up.
That's what I'm trying to tell you. That's what I was trying to tell you back there. You just feel right there. You're barely touching on it, and it's already ready to go. You see what I'm saying? So, like I said, for the most part, you got traction control on. It is a very aggressive, dangerous car, but at the same time, you got to feel for having a fast car. You know, your BMW, this is going to be a little bit more on steroids, but
yeah,
whatever, you know, you can give it, you can test it here and then try it. You know, because like I said, you know the roads, you'll feel the car. You know, like I said, traction control's on, so you can still lose control with traction control on, but you'll be a lot more safe. So whenever you want to get on, you just feel it. Whenever you feel like you know.
Wait to this curve,
yeah,
and then it opens up
pretty much
straight away.
Yeah, exactly.
As long as people don't cut down in front.
Yeah. And that's what I always tell people. When you're first driving a Hellcat for the first time, on turns or curves, I wouldn't give it any acceleration until you really get the hang of it. Even with traction control still on, because until you get that throttle memorized, or until you get that throttle response down.
Yeah, man, you can really feel it just tapping it.
Yeah, like
and even like the brakes, like I'm barely tapping it.
Yeah, that's the thing that I was gonna tell you. The same thing.
Hey, it slows down.
Yeah, the same application with the throttles, with the brakes. It's like they're connected. You can tap that brake just a little bit, just like you tapping that throttle a little bit. It's gonna slam it. It's gonna stop the car in a heartbeat. It's gonna stop you on a dime, just like how it would if you accelerate.
That was a tap.
Tell you.
That sounds so good, man. Once you hear that supercharger starting to wind up.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is nothing like my car. My car throws you back a little bit, but
yeah,
you get on this, man, and then right back to that seat.
Pretty much.
So how much more horsepower is this one than your previous build?
The last Daytona 392 was 485. You know, with that cold air intake, they say it's like close to 500, but it's like 485, you know, to the crank. This is 717 to the crank. So, you know, this is supposedly also underrated, so it's a lot more than 717, but Dodge will tell you 717. You know, I got to get it dyno to see what is actually making to the rear wheels, and then you add 15% to that, because sometimes dynos that I've seen with this car, a lot of people have been getting 680 to the wheel. 680 to the wheel, so you know, like I said, 717 to the crank. By the time it gets to the wheels, it's about 680 from what I've seen.
That was a 650 pound-feet of torque?
Yeah, 650 torque.
Yeah, those are still crazy high numbers.
Yeah, pretty much. And like I said, you're getting familiar with the car right now, so what you're doing is perfect. How you're just getting familiar with the car. You get familiar with that throttle and learn what that throttle does. You know, around curves, you can kind of like you can kind of feather that throttle a little bit, just where you kind of feather it. You know, when you get on like a smooth area, and you'll feel what it does just with a feather. So just imagine when you give it full throttle.
And you know, it handles surprisingly well, because all of my cars I've ever owned are all-wheel drive.
Exactly.
And this handles like surprisingly well for a rear-wheel drive car.
That's exactly what I tell people. The wide body suspension, the upgrades they made on this car, AJ, was basically mimicking all-wheel drive. That's what I feel like. To me, compared to the last narrow body, it was so much more sideways and squiggly. With this, because it was a narrow body, with the wide body, it's still rear-wheel drive, but the wider suspension and the upgrades they did to the suspension, to me, acts like all-wheel drive. It's like it prevents you from being squiggly so much. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
So it's almost like you get that fun factor with rear-wheel drive, but the wide body suspension kind of almost has you glued to the road like an all-wheel drive car.
And it's just so wide, like the surface area that it covers is just so big.
So exactly.
Even though it's a big car and it's a lot of car, it does handle very well. It turns very nice.
Right. Because you coming from your smaller BMW, so this is a wider, longer, you know, bulkier car, so you can kind of feel or you feel that exactly. You feel that 100%. You can feel that difference from your car to this car, big time. You can feel how much wider it is. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Like because you like you drive that car every day, so you're driving this for the first time.
Yeah, it's. Yeah, I'm very, very surprised at this how it handles.
I'm telling you, this is a big difference. This wide body was a big difference when it came to a heartbeat. Look what you got up to in a heartbeat. It's just effortlessly. I mean, that was like, I feel like you were going nowhere, but you saw what that said, right?
Yeah, I know. I was like, look about driving this car fast enough. And I looked down, I'm like, oh, I am.
That's what's crazy about it. Like, it's just that number right there. It's like, usually in most cars, it feels like you're going through war. It's like when you're in most cars going that speed, it's like, it's like, you know what I'm saying? It's like, it feels like you're moving. You know what I'm saying? With this, it feels like you're going nowhere. That's what I'm trying to tell you. That's why it's so dangerous, because you get to 15% more than that, and it still feels like nothing. You let this guy go on what you step on.
That's exactly what I was gonna do. Let him go a little bit. Oh, look at this. He sees the Hellcat. He's letting me go.
Gotcha.
Yeah. And I can see. That's insane.
And you're still giving it. You're just gradually, which is smart. You're learning the throttle. What you're doing is very smart.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So we drive all day. You already know.
That's insane, man.
All right, now now that you got the hang of it, I'm gonna put you in full track mode. All right. Now you're gonna feel the harshness of the road. You're gonna feel it won't be as floaty. It's gonna feel more nailed down. It's gonna feel more like almost like BMW German like. It's gonna feel real on the ground, like it's gonna be super nailed down. I'm talking about super nailed down. So whereas there is no floatiness, it's gonna be like you're literally glued to the road. Like
okay.
You go
yeah. So it's more. I gotcha.
And the traction control is partially off. It's still not fully off, but it's partially off. So now you'll feel the car be a little bit more aggressive because the traction control is on. The traction is on track. Before I had you on street where it was just on, like you had that protection. Now you don't have as much protection when you drive it. Now you're in track, so you're in full track. You're in full track right now. Paddle shifters are on. Everything's in full track. It's like you're going to a track right now. So now do the same thing. You'll feel the suspension. The drive is gonna be different.
Yeah, man. Wow. It's just something. You're gonna make me get a supercharger in my car or something, man. That just sounds.
I've been telling you this for 3 years. I've been telling you this since I told. Listen, we was talking way back before I even had my Hellcat. When I still got the Daytona, I was telling you this. We were in that van.
That's right. Downshift. Yeah, man. It's my first supercharged car I've ever been in too, and I've been in a lot of turbo cars.
Yeah.
And the turbo to me, it sounds nice, but I mean, I don't know. It's just something about like the supercharger sound that you hear.
Something different.
It's something different, and you feel it. Like, gets your adrenaline going.
It's off the charts. It's almost like a rush. It's like
it is a rush. It's almost like scary, but at the same time, you feel comfortable because of how this car specifically handles.
Yeah. I tell people that supercharge is like an injection of HGH through your blood. It's almost like somebody hit you with a needle. Boom, with HGH, you got that rush through your blood. You are that car with that HGH getting rushed into your blood. That's the supercharger. You wake up. It's almost like you become Superman.
Man, it really does feel like that. Like I felt it like when I floated back there and I got pushed back. Like I felt the rush, like the adrenaline, and I was like, oh my god. This is a lot of car. And then the adrenaline went down once I realized how fast I was going. I was comfortable in the car.
Incredible.
Like I was going pretty quick, but I felt very comfortable.
Pretty much. That's what I'm trying to tell you. You got that nail. It's like you're nailed down. It's like that nailed down experience. It's almost like, you know, like you're so glued to the road. It's almost like you feel like you can literally. It's almost like you're in a true track inspired car, even though it's not. It's not a true track car. It's geared to be a track car.
Right.
With this wide body suspension, it's supposed to be the best track car that they've ever made with this wide body suspension. But it's so with this weight, you would think it wouldn't be so glued down to the road like that. You feel, and I'm telling you, man, this is just on the street. Imagine if we were on an actual track where they have the sticky compounds on the track, on the road course. It's that, you know, when you're coming around the curves, they have that black little, you know, tapered, it's on the ground.
Yeah,
that's the compound. So when you're coming around curves,
it keeps you tight.
Keeps you gripped to the road. So we're just on the street.
Dude, it's insane because for 717 horsepower and 600 pound-feet of torque, you can daily this car. You can daily this car.
You're right about that. That's
you know what I
exactly
mean? Like, you absolutely can daily drive this car and have fun on the weekends.
That's exactly what it is. Go to the supermarket. I go everywhere in this car. You know, like I said, if it was 4 feet of snow, I'm not driving my car. The rain, the cold, the winter, the fall. This is a daily driver. You have a super sedan every single day that can do all types of different things. Absolutely. And then you can do this right here. Now look, automatic. Now it's in street mode. Everything feels different. It's still in 717, but it's gonna feel softer. Everything's gonna feel softer.
I can feel it right away.
Right away.
Suspension immediately.
Right away. The suspension, the steering, everything now it's like going on a long trip. And then basically, once you want to wake this thing up, you take that eco mode off and you put it back here track. Now you're back in war. Now you're in war. Just like that. It's incredible.
That's amazing. That really is.
An incredible time to be alive right now.
Oh my God.
with the actual.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's my girl's gonna be pretty mad when I tell her forget the house. I want a supercharged car.
Oh, she'll see the video. And now what I want you to do is now you're in track mode. And once you see the steering wheel, it's still in street until you get it straight. It knows. Once the steering wheel's straight, watch what happens.
that's the accelerator.
Oh, let up the accelerator. I'm sorry. Right now, there you go.
Okay. Wow. That's awesome.
Now with the curves, get on it a little bit. Even though you're in track, you got the feel of it. You'll know around a curve. You'll kind of know.
I know. I mean, I've been in this car what 10, maybe 15 minutes, and I'm comfortable with it already.
I'm telling you, man.
Like,
those ladies that
I'm actually comfortable with it.
Those ladies that was walking the dog, those older, they can drive this car. You can put it in the street and they can drive it. It's just how much you apply the throttle. If you respect the throttle,
right,
it's no problem. It won't turn on you. Once you do not respect that throttle, it's just like a pit bull. It'll flip on you in a heartbeat. It'll turn on you in a heartbeat. You've been feeding this dog for 15 years in a heartbeat. It'll snap on you. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, it's just in its nature.
Wow. You just like that, like in the snap of a finger.
Pretty much.
You're there.
Instant power, instantaneous with that supercharger. It's instantaneous. There's no lag. It's like little to no lag, literally.
That's amazing.
Now, in sport mode is where I wouldn't want to put you in right now around these curves because that's where the traction control is really kind of off. It's not fully off. They were looking earlier.
That's why I did that.
Them hearing that, they'll never forget it. It's not the same. How you heard it, for them, it sounded like a fighter jet. I'm serious.
Wow.
For them to hear that, I guarantee you, for them to hear that outside of this car was something special.
And you know what? I like fluttered the gas.
You feathered it.
Like literally, I feathered the gas.
Exactly what it is.
And it was so loud.
Pretty much.
And I was there.
Pretty much. That's how it is. But I'm telling you, you just feather it, and it's just like it's like something. It's like a slingshot. It just propels it. It's like when you feather that throttle, it's like it propels it.
God bless the USA, allowing us to keep this, right?
You better believe it. All right, so I'm here with my guy AJ. He just drove the Daytona Hellcat. Tell him exactly what you feel about it.
So, coming from a guy who drove BMWs his whole life and like all-wheel drive vehicles and nice, small, compact, you know, sporty cars, I was a little hesitant coming into something like this, especially 717 horsepower and all that torque. And you know, all that torque going to the rear wheels, so I was a little skeptical. And then I started to drive it and I realized, I was like, yo, you can daily this car. This car, it's got everything. It can throw you back, it can handle very well. And honestly, for the price tag, you can't get much better than this.
AJ had an incredible time driving the Hellcat for the first time. I'm following him now to get gas, and I'm gonna get back on the road, start going back home. So make sure you are subscribed. Make sure you have that bell clicked with all post notifications turned on, and I will see you in the next one.